One of those things that you could do with these trainings is use them as an opportunity to have something to invite people to, the kind of people that you want potentially joining your team. So know that we're doing that. And then the next steps for that is to put together a promotional strategy to get as far and wide distribution of the invitation to your event as possible. Right? And why do people not do this, or why do people struggle to make this happen? In the past, it's been difficult to actually put together all these assets, right? Everything from the inception of the event through to all of the different marketing processes has historically taken somebody's creative time and effort to assemble in order to actually do the promotion. If you want to promote it on Facebook, somebody's got to write the Facebook ad. If you want to set up a meetup group, somebody's got to write the description of the event. Welcome back to the Real Estate Growth Hackers Show. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the AI real estate recruiting system designed to really make it easy for real estate teams to recruit agents to their team in a way that's fun, easy, and cool. That's what we're talking about. How does that sound, Charlie?
I'm excited. I feel like I say that every time, but it's true because you're so excited whenever you start this. And what we're talking about today, like I've used it to recruit team. And it works. And with AI, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. Let's give some context here. So at a basic level, what we're talking about is we're not talking about something that's going to do everything for you. That's one of the principles that we talk about at Real Estate Growth Hackers with understanding where does AI fit in this world, right? The reality is if you expect AI to do everything, it is either going to replace you when you aren't necessary, or B, most of the time it just gives you hot garbage, right? Like that's what's going to happen. So if you don't come armed with your own unique point of view, it's not going to give you good stuff. So starting with that understanding of we know that we're bringing our unique point of view to the table, but then we're taking what we call that spark of humanity, in this case, something that would be useful for recruiting, that spark of humanity, and we're leveraging AI to make all of the process of promotion and delivery and scaling, we're making all of that easy with AI while we still bring our own human expertise to the table. So that's the foundation here. Now, really, why does this even matter? So why it matters is typically when it comes to recruiting, one of the things that I've seen a lot of teams struggle with is really, honestly, it's the same thing that real estate agents struggle with in general, that lenders struggle with in general. What are you doing to actually set yourself apart, right? What are you doing to stand apart? And the typical way that a lot of real estate teams try to recruit is they try and say, you know what? We're offering you leads. And you know what? We're offering you these systems and some level of support. The problem is that you're offering the same things everybody is. And so by default, that ends up in you getting commoditized and people just price shopping to figure out who gives me the most and charges the least. And that doesn't actually win people over to like how you help them and to your point of view and toward aligning with your vision, your authority, and your expertise. And so when you lead with kind of those easy to bullet point features, you get the kind of people that are only looking for those easy to bullet point top level offerings. And it's always going to drive you down to the bottom, right? Like that by nature of just how that works. It's always going to be who offers the most and charges the least. And quite honestly, most of us don't want to, if we can avoid it, compete in that zone. We don't want to be commoditized, right? Because it continually gets harder. It gets harder and you make less in the process, right? So we'd like to avoid that, right, Charlie?
Everyone wants to be a monopoly. That's what Dan Sullivan says, and I think that's true.
Exactly. So really, that's why we're doing this the way that we're about to describe. The other why is people have done this before. You just mentioned you've leveraged this concept before, and this concept has been around for a while. But I think what people typically struggle with is the amount of work that it has taken in order to run this strategy has been difficult before. It takes a lot of creative energy. It takes a lot of time. It works and it's effective, right? It's just like when you're talking to your real estate agent, sure. When you're coaching people out of your team, if they make enough calls, they will find enough people that are ready to do deals and deals will happen. right? Like just by nature of doing that enough, you will get results from it. You shake enough trees and you're going to find something, right? We know that this system works, and it works powerfully, but it has historically been a lot of effort. What we're about to show you is it reduces that effort drastically, but still keeps the power of the result. Right. Yeah. So you're able to run this system, get the word out effectively, get qualified, hungry, ready to go agents coming to you, excited to come to you without nearly as much time, effort, or energy to do so. And so that's why this all matters. So, Charlie, what do you think? Should we talk about like just literally how we're doing this, kind of the high level idea of what the strategy is?
Yeah, let's jump in on how do you actually use AI to create a fun, efficient recruiting system.
So yeah, let's dive into it. So at the foundation, remember I said everything starts with your spark of humanity, right? And so kind of the foundational thing in this process and this system is doing, I would say minimum would be about once a month, but do some sort of training from your own experience, knowledge, and expertise. What's working for you that could be applied and taught to agents in the market? Is it that you have a specific way of doing open houses that it's working great for you? Is it that you have a Facebook ad strategy that's really generating leads for you effectively? Is it that you've learned a concept that makes it drastically easier to follow up with leads that gets them to turn into sales? Is it that you just learned about referrals while you sleep and you're finding that it's working great for you because it's getting leads coming to you on, or not getting leads, sorry, I used the wrong word.
Compliant clients.
The danger word. It gets compliant clients coming to you on autopilot. Charlie's smiling right now because referrals while you sleep, if you haven't been listening to the show for long, is Charlie's company, and it's great. But anyway, whatever it is, the key idea is do some sort of training from your expertise, from your knowledge. What's working for you? What's been working for you? Or what did work for you? Maybe you're not in production right now and you just want to share like how you cut your teeth and what was working for you and how you would apply it in today's market, right? But so share from your expertise. And that's important because as we enter a world where more and more stuff is AI generated, the things that stand out are the things that actually have a proven track record and that come from your point of view. When you say, I've tested this in the market, I know it works. I'm doing it right now. I've been doing it. We have agents doing it, right? This works. And that's what we're teaching you, not just I read it in a book. Or even worse, I asked ChatGPT and this is what it said to do.
Right.
But so start with that. And the training doesn't have to be anything super complicated if you're not used to doing those types of trainings. Typically, I tell people you just want to follow what we call a what, why, how, now framework. If you've been paying close attention, it's literally what we've been doing on this episode. What is giving people the context? What are you going to talk about? Why does this matter? Why does it matter now? Why does it matter to you? How do you do it? You give them the step by step. And then typically in each of the steps, you give them also a breakdown of the what, why, how, now. And then now is the now what do you do next? Or now here's some examples. Now here's a case study. Now here's a story that makes the point clear. Or now here's the templates that make it easy, right? So the now is the now I'm calling you to actually take some action on this and trying to make it easy to do. So if you go through and you teach in that sort of framework, you're going to get good results. So step one, check, right? We've got a training that we are doing monthly that is going to be powerful and exciting because it comes from our own lived experience in the market getting results for people. If you are not getting results, you're going to struggle with this, and you probably shouldn't be recruiting a team anyway because you don't have something valuable to offer.
Right.
If you are getting results, then it makes sense. Team members probably actually want to be part of what you're up to. Okay, so we got that. Next, so here's the thing. Typically, the reason why I bring this up as a strategy is a lot of people are already doing that. They're already teaching their agents what's working for them. They're doing a meeting. They're sharing with the people already on their team. They're sharing what's working well as just part of the work of being on a team and making that team environment successful. What I'm going to recommend that you do is that now you do two things, and we're going to go at this from two different angles. One, you make sure that content is recorded, and we're going to do one thing with that. Two, we promote this event and invite people to it. Right? We invite outside people to come and learn with you that aren't currently part of your team. Okay, so those are the two different angles that we're going to go down. I'm going to start with the invite outside people because I think that's the one that has the most chance of getting you the most results quickly. Because getting somebody physically into your office to something that you were doing or in your presence is going to be the best thing that you could do to actually attract agents that are ready and hungry to work with you. So that's what we're going to do. Now, Why do most people miss this? Most people miss this because, one, you're probably doing training because you realize you need to do it for your agents and you haven't thought about that you could literally just leverage it as a marketing tool. So that's one. It wasn't your original reason, so you may just be in that where you haven't thought about, I could literally, the same exact thing, other people would find it valuable in the market. Do you find that's true, Charlie? Where like literally sometimes it's like, I didn't even think about, I could use this thing in just a different way, and it already makes sense.
Yeah, there's so many reasons to have training. That's what me and you have really been harping on with the power of AI, because you used to not be able to do anything with it. It would just store hard drive space. But now you've got, you can do a lot with it now.
Exactly. So one of those things that you could do with these trainings is use them as an opportunity to have something to invite people to, the kind of people that you want potentially joining your team. So know that we're doing that. And then the next steps for that is to put together a promotional strategy to get as far and wide distribution of the invitation to your event as possible, right? And why do people not do this, or why do people struggle to make this happen? In the past, it's been difficult to actually put together all these assets, right? Everything from the inception of the event through to all of the different marketing processes has historically taken somebody's creative time and effort to assemble in order to actually do the promotion. If you want to promote it on Facebook, somebody's got to write the Facebook ad. If you want to set up a meetup group, somebody's got to write the description of the event. It may not sound like a lot. It ends up being a lot of work to try and take, this is the thing that we're doing. How do I adapt it into this format to make the most compelling case possible in the right that fits on this platform and this? Even literally answering the questions like, what's the title of the event versus the description versus who's it for? And some of the things are a lot easier than others, like what date and time. Like those are easy to fill out. But some of those other fields that pop up, they're not hard, but they take creative energy and thus end up adding up to a lot of man hours to actually get done historically. Does that make sense? Have you seen that in practice too?
Exactly. It is.
So here's where AI really fits. AI is able to you start with just a very basic description, and you could literally like brain dump into a voice recording. You could turn on voice dictation and just type this into something like ChatGPT. And you could say, here's what this event is about. Here's why it matters. Here's what we're going to teach and how we actually help people. And here's the end thing that they're going to get of it. Here's the transformation that they're going to have as a result of going to this event or as a result of what we're going to teach them. So you give just the description like that. And then from that asset, you're then able to say, great, now can you rewrite this into a Facebook post that we will send out to invite local agents to this event? And it's going to be able to do a much better job when you start with, here's what the event's about, here's why it matters, all that, and give you back that Facebook post. Now, over time, you might even find certain types of Facebook posts work better than others. So maybe you add a template to say, here's the template that I want you to fill out because it's been proven and it works for us, but I want you to use it based on this context. So Facebook post, okay? That's one of the things that we're going to do. For that, you're going to need a description and probably an image. For the image, you could generate that via AI as well. You can have a template that you use in Canva. There's lots of ways to make that part easy and replicatable. Okay, so we got Facebook post. Other thing that I would do is I would set up a meetup group. So the meetup group is going to be a way for this event to show up to people in the area who are looking for things to attend. Make sure that it's relevant in the title, that it's geared toward real estate professionals and meets their needs. And then again, you're going to have the description, etc. So you're going to have a prompt that's designed to write the description for your meetup group and fill out any of the relevant fields that you would have to fill out. We're talking that process would normally probably take easily 30 minutes to an hour if you're having to sit and think through it. But with AI, you should be able to literally make it a 10-minute process where it's copy and paste what the results of AI come back with. So that's one of the things. Another one that I would do is Eventbrite. I'd do it as most likely a free public event that people could potentially even search for. So I'd set it up as an Eventbrite. That might even be what you invite people back to. So like from the Facebook post, you might point to the Eventbrite. And again, you're going to set up your AI prompt to say, I'm setting up an Eventbrite page. Here's the context. Here's the template or the fields that I need filled out. Please give them back to me. What else? You're going to do an email. So Charlie, in your area, do you know, this is what I've typically found. It's usually pretty easy to source lists of real estate agents in a local MLS in an area, right? Like, what are some of the ways that you've seen to be able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, you can always buy a list. If you've got a certain version of the MLS, you can download the list. If you've got API access to IDX feed or all sorts of nerdy ways. And then now, I mean, really with AI too, I mean, you can build your own scraper really, really easy. Just scraping Google Maps and Zillow and broker websites. So there's a lot of ways to get the email now.
Yeah, exactly. And so emailing is a great strategy. One of the ways that's worked for me too is very often title companies, depending on where you are in the country. I know some places use title companies, some places don't. Some places are more lawyer based and it might be a little bit different. But title companies often have lists of their local MLS that they'll share with you, or they'll do these kind of promotions on your behalf too. So if you can provide it for them. So anyway, being creative, there's lots of ways to solve for that. But getting a list of the local realtors that you would potentially want to invite and see who's a good fit, you want to write an email. So again, we take our foundational, here's what the event's going to be about. We state the goal, what we're trying to do. We get it to write an email that is designed to invite them to the event. We are not trying to recruit the people from the email. That's part of a big thing of what makes this work. We're not trying to say, here's all the reasons why you should join our company. Like, we're not trying to do that. And I don't know why I sound like a prospector when I say it that way. But what we're trying to do is we're just trying to say, hey, we have something valuable to offer you for free. Come to this event. And that's what we're looking to do. So email is a great way. Honestly, not a ton of people are doing this. Depending on how far in advance you could go, this could even be a great way to leverage direct mail as well. Put out a letter that's inviting people to the list. That could be great. Another strategy that you could do would be LinkedIn outreach. So there's ways that you can set up software to go out and make connections of people in your local market and then be able to leverage the DMs from that to be able to reach out to those people. So that's a great strategy that could be part of the over-encompassing distribution strategy. And yeah, so the key here is that we get two main benefits as a result of doing this promotion. So one, if we set it up, people should have to register for the event. So you're going to be growing your list of people regardless. People that, depending on what all you ask for, it could be name, email, phone number. So you're able to call to follow up, you're able to text, you're able to email, and your list of potential people to be nurturing and growing your local distribution with keeps growing. But the other one is that we're going to actually get people that show up. And so the people that show up, you're going to be aware if the person is new, if the person has been there before, and you don't even have to have some fancy sales pitch of, hey, if you want to join our team, here's all the great things that we offer. It could be as simple as something like in the training, you say, hey, we know we got a lot of new people here. If you guys have any questions about what we're talking about here or even what we do at this team, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Feel free to pull me aside after the event. We'll get you any information that you need. And it becomes a very low-key thing where people aren't feeling like they're being pressured into something. They're getting the opportunity to receive the value that you have to share, and they're fairly naturally starting to figure out, like, man, this is a good opportunity. This is a good team. They're doing good things here. They're smart. I align with their vision. I align with what they're looking to do and what they offer and how they approach things. And further, it's a lot like real estate in general, right? Like, it doesn't matter how much marketing you do. If somebody doesn't want to buy or sell a house, like, you're not going to just magically force them to do it. So some of the best agents in your market are already happy at another team, at another brokerage, right?
Until they're not.
Until they aren't. And that's the key, is that this is a great strategy that you could invite competing teams, competing brokerages, and stay in front of people where somebody does something to piss them off, or when somebody does something that makes it like it's finally that time, I need to find something different. You've been there the whole time by offering in a cool way, and in a way that isn't like, that doesn't feel predatory.
You want some candy?
Yeah, exactly. It's not like you're inviting them into your white van and you got puppies and candy. It's very much like you could say, hey, I will help you where you are. This is very much Jay Abraham's strategy of preeminence, right? Like the idea of saying, I am going to show you that I am the best place for you by helping you where you are before you're even on the team, by actually helping you to succeed. Frank Kern talks about this of, I'm going to make you think that I'm going to help you by actually helping you. It works because over time, even if somebody doesn't end up deciding to join your team immediately, you keep creating this value, keep putting it out. It's only a matter of time.
I was going to say, our friend Kevin did this. And my favorite offer at the end of it was he had opened up his next day. And he said, if you'd like help with this, I've got 30-minute or hour slots tomorrow. And I'd love to just sit down and help you, like, write down your top 3 things. And I'd love to just help you implement them. What a great follow-up offer. Like, there's no sell there. And like, it just builds more time. It's just helping more. Eventually they're going to be like, my broker's not doing this.
I'm getting more help from this person for free than I'm getting from this broker that I'm paying for. Yeah, exactly. That's the main idea of how does the basic funnel work to get somebody to you and create those conversations, right? And then further, we can leverage AI to create email follow-up sequences, potential text message starters, right? There's some level of being able to automate that, have the ideas, the prompts that make us have more options for what do we say. But what I love about what you just described is it becomes easy at that point. You don't need a ton of automation. You don't need a ton of stuff to make it work from there. But on that same vein, with what you do with referrals while you sleep, we know that there's massive power in getting good content in front of our people, right? The people that we are looking to win over to our way of thinking, ultimately, in this case, recruit. But it works for real estate agents looking to make sure they're in front of their clients when it's the right time. It works for lenders looking to make sure they're in front of the realtors at the right time and attracting people to them, right? It works for everybody. And so that's the other thing. We mentioned before, there's two aspects to this, right? There's the record it, leverage the recording, and then how do we maximize the promotion in order to get people to the event? So we covered getting people to the event. Let's talk about maximizing that recording. So maximizing the recording is all about you're creating these assets in this process that can become the foundational pieces that you then use for all sorts of things. So those trainings you can put behind a lead gate and just give people the option to opt in to receive those trainings after the fact, receive the replay. You've got that. That's a great thing to test with Facebook ads to see if the training itself is good at generating leads for you. Maybe they're not willing to come yet to your in-person event, but they would opt in for your replay. So you could do that. You could create Facebook ad to promote that. You start building up a massive suite of things that you could see what's really working, what's not, in terms of getting people into your world. I'd target it the same way, target it toward the people that are in your local market, that sort of thing that you would be looking to attract. So that's one thing that we could do. Another thing that we could do is that we could take that video, and that video could be leveraged and turned into a podcast that we use to distribute content back out to that list that we're generating through our ads and through our promotion, right? It could be part of how we nurture. Say, hey, we just did this. Here's a replay. Here's how you can get access to it. And that keeps that list warm for us. Another thing that we could do is we could take that. I've actually developed a process where you could take a long piece of content and do a number of things with it. One, you could use tools to split it up into smaller clips, and those smaller clips by themselves could actually do better than the whole teaching on its own. And then you could promote those smaller clips, and we use AI to do that editing to make it all sorts of easy as well. So there's great ways to be able to make that process simple.
You take this long training and you can convert it in 20 different reels. That's one a day for 5 days a week, 4 weeks. For your whole month.
Exactly. So you're doing one a month, and you're able to be posting almost every day a new clip that is good quality from you, and making that process really easy with something that edits it for you, basically. Oh yeah, it's so powerful. Another thing that I do is I take the transcripts from those recordings and I feed them through a special AI tool that I've built that allows it to extract whatever the key points were. Right? The key points from the training. And each of those key points can then be fed into a tool that generates quality social posts based off of those points as well, like written posts, right? Again, we're not talking about write me a post about why we're so great. We're talking about something that is based on solid templates, solid principles for writing good social media content that is designed to persuade, educate, and inform, that will take what you think about the world, structure it into a highly compelling social post, and use that to be able to put your message out into the world in a written format as well. Because one of the things that AI is unlocking is the reality is I don't read a ton of social posts at this point. I honestly don't even watch like a ton of other people's videos. I tend to get the most value out of something that I could put on and listen to. So like podcasts, or like I'll put a video on and put it in my pocket, that kind of thing, and just listen to it. But everybody's different. Some people will read more. Some people will watch videos more. They need the visual stimulation to be interested. Some people are just going to listen to it while they're doing something else. So part of what AI is powerful for is being able to take what you created and turn it into all the different things that everybody else needs while still having your spark of humanity in it. We take your one long form asset, we turn it into a bunch of shorter form assets for those shorter form attention spans of videos. We take it and turn it into a bunch of different written assets. We take that and like leveraging tools where you can turn that into podcasts, audios, emails, all that sort of stuff. And really you take that one piece of content and either just leverage it to nurture, or even you could say, hey, we put out trainings like this consistently and use it as a way to get people back into your list and actually generate leads. And yeah, it becomes fodder for literally everything just by taking that one piece of content that you put effort in, you put time, you put your experience in. You don't have to put a ton of extra effort. Most of the time that information flows easy when it's based from your own experience. But the result of it is this asset that it can literally become your entire marketing plan, right? Like from your warm offers to your just audience growth offers and everything. And it could all be based around one event that you're doing anyway, right? And so what's cool is some people are actually doing more than one of those trainings a month. And so you get all of that same power, but applied to more. When you really start to understand this, that same concept can be applied to, it doesn't have to just be a training. You could take the coaching calls that you do with individual agents on your team and turn those into fodder to become social posts and topics for videos and things like that. And literally you start to be able to see what you're already doing, or from one simple activity, you can take care of all of the recruiting that you need to do just by getting them back to an event, by getting them back to what you need, what you're doing anyway. So yeah, there you go. That's the process. So if you guys have any questions on that, first off, Charlie, do you have any questions? Is there anything that you think I was unclear about or maybe need to clarify for people?
What I was thinking about was, so the idea is it's an event-based marketing where you've got a training. Right. And so you utilize AI to generate all of the assets, either you or your team member does. And then you run the training, and then you utilize AI to split it up and create it into content. And I love, last week you showed me the LinkedIn post that you took a clip and it was like, everyone thinks this, but this. It was like the perfect templated viral post from something me and you were just talking about. So you did this. I guess the question is, where are people going to get the assets? Like, where are they going to get the prompts?
Yeah, so there you go. So if you want help implementing this process, really, there's a couple of different ways. So one, right now, you can reach out to us and learn about our AI mastermind for real estate teams. I am always actively building out these prompts, these tools, these things, and you get access to all of it when you join that mastermind. You get the opportunity to have weekly discussions with me and my team, get the help that you need, get the golden ticket. Anything that we have, you get access to, our prompts, our tools, everything. It's just part of it. So if you want that kind of help in implementation, then feel free to reach out to us to learn about that weekly mastermind for teams. If you aren't feeling quite ready for that, we are looking at starting to offer some of these processes as standalone courses and trainings where you can get access to more of a siloed approach to just implement a concept of this. Again, as we roll those out, if you're in the mastermind, you just get access to all of them. That's one angle that we're looking at too. But otherwise, I welcome people to ask questions and reach out. If you have something that you're curious about, feel free to reach out. Wherever you're watching this, listening to this, drop a comment or reach out on Facebook and let us know if you're implementing this or if you have questions. And I have limited availability, but I do my best to try and be helpful and answer people's questions. So it depends, right? You could show up in as little involvement as you want, or if you really need that help and you see the power of this and you want us to make it easy to implement it, you could go all the way up to that AI mastermind level. But if you want to take those steps, go to realestategrowthhackers.com/contact to find out about the mastermind. Otherwise, realestategrowthhackers.com is where you'll be able to find the courses as they come out. You can get on our list. We make sure to announce these kinds of things to people who sign up for our list, as well as share more trainings, free content, and information like this just to help you put this stuff into practice. But yeah, there you go. So that's how people could take action. Any final parting words on this, Charlie, on this concept of AI for the AI machine for recruiting?
And are we going to go more into detail with this, either in the mastermind or in these shows in the coming weeks?
Yeah, so that's definitely the key. In the mastermind especially, that's where I'm able to show my screen, take the time to literally walk you through step by step. I hand you prompts. I hand you all of the steps to do that. But yeah, if you want it to be easy, that's what we cover in the mastermind, where I just give you everything that it takes to make this work, or we build it out on your behalf and hand it over. If you just want to learn more about how this strategy is working, yeah, I would say we are likely going to be talking more about this on coming shows and going over it at a high level and kind of revealing the concepts and diving into it more. But yeah, so feel free, subscribe for more. Make sure you're paying attention to those new episodes as they come out. I highly recommend people get on our email list and pay attention to those emails. That's where we potentially offer special promotions and stuff like that. You can always subscribe to the show and wherever you're seeing this now, YouTube, your podcast app, wherever, and we do release that way. But if you want to be sure you're getting the most current, up-to-date information on what we're offering and the tools that we're coming out with and all that, we don't tend to focus a ton of that on the show, but we do talk about that more on the email list where it's relevant.
And let's talk next week about more.
That sounds good. There you go. Until next week, this has been the Real Estate Growth Hacker Show. I'm Zach Hammer, Charlie Madison from Referrals While You Sleep, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Growth Hacker Show. Remember, done is better than perfect. To turn the marketing ideas and tactics you just learned into real growth for your real estate business, visit us at realestategrowthhackers.com. If you like this episode, consider sharing it with another real estate professional who could benefit from the information, or maybe you'd like to subscribe to the show to never miss an episode. You can leave a rating or review on iTunes with your biggest takeaway, helping this show to reach and help more people just like you. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next episode.